我が名魔王オディン。
Hello, I'm Silveroxus, and this week's units for Octopath Traveler COTC is the continuation of the Live a Live collab with O Odio and S Odio. This video will be covering S Odio, the envious mage, corrupted by the Lord of the Dark. To go overview what S Odio does, he is a cleric whose role is a dark/fire DPS with because his dark skills exploit fire. His special abilities is that he basically can burn SP constantly to have a constant BP regen, so that's useful. His preferred weapons would be a Void Staff for damage cap / Brilliant Weapons for 2 damage cap slots, as he usually slams cap hard. Fortune Staff is fine for his 5-hit TP skill and EX skill if you have damage cap accessories when he gets his TP and 6 scar. Preferred accessories would be dark damage up accessories like Primrose A4, as he lacks damage up entirely. Accessories for damage cap like Bargello A4 or magic attack boosting accessories are also really useful. So as a reminder, this unit is releasing without his TP and 6 star, so they will be overviewed here, but just remember he will not get them until much later. So to go over his passive skills, his first passive is after each turn, if S Odio has 10% or more of his max SP, consume 5% of his max SP to gain 1 PP. So basically just as long as he has SP, he gets constant BP regen, so that is useful. His next passive is that after he uses his ultimate technique, he recovers all of his SP. So again, if you kind of play around it and just keep using your SP along with other skills that he has, you can then just time using an ultimate and boom, full SP back to keep going. And then his TP passive, when he unlocks that, is that when an enemy has 8 total buff / debuff icons, he inflicts all enemies with 10% sword, fire, and dark resistance down. This actually is pretty useful. It's just, unfortunately, he does not release with it, so it is what it is. So moving on to his skills, his base skills are a 3-hit AoE Dark that exploits fire weakness, basic power, self 30% magic attack up and 30% dark damage up for 3 to 6 turns. This is actually pretty good because it means he doesn't need other people to buff him. He can just self-buff himself to max effectiveness in the active category. His 1-star still, he can revive a dead ally for 25 to 100% HP, but also he will inflict that ally with 30% max HP down for 6 turns, which is just a super unnecessary debuff to have an unlimited use revive. His 2-star skills, he 3-hit random target dark that exploits fire weakness and also inflicts 15% dark resistance down for 2 turns per hit. This is just your standard 3-hit random target resistance down skill that almost every other elemental scholar usually has somewhere in their kit. So he just has it as well. His other skill, 2-star skill, is that he can grant all allies the following based on the current HP for 2 to 5 turns, then heal them. So at 50% HP or less, they get 15% physical attack and magic attack up. And if they're at 20% HP or less, they also get 15% all damage up. This sounds good. It's just that this either requires them to all get hit. And the clear use of this skill is that it's like designed to like combine him with Odio. If you make S Odio slower than normal Odio, then O Odio has skills that drain like up to 80% HP, although that's a TP skill that does 80%. So you could then use O Odio to drain their HP to then have S Odio buff and heal them back. That's the intent of this skill, but that doesn't make it good or useful. His 3-hit star skill is that he has a 1-hit AoE Dark that exploits fire weakness and has a medium chance to inflict paralysis for 2 turns. The 6-star upgrade is also laughably bad, like O Odio's, that it just also adds on the chance to inflict poison, bleeding, and blindness as well. Status ailments are almost always bad against enemies because like super bosses usually have high resistance to debuffs like this, and arena fights are often just straight up immune to them. So this is just bad. His 4-star skill is a one-hit single target dark that explodes fire weakness. This is a Giga Nuke. It goes up to 1 times 630 power when upgraded at level 96. It's just a Giga Nuke. 300 costs a bunch of SP, and it's gonna damage cap for free. It might even damage cap through shield. Like it's good. It's good for what it does, but it's really expensive, and it's only gonna do damage cap. So it does lose out on overall damage. It's good if he's like a sub DPS, and you can throw that out to get a lot of damage on break without him being buffed. That's about it. His 5-star skills, he has a 3-hit single target dark that exploits fire weakness, but it'll also heal all allies at 15% of damage dealt. This also gets stronger at level 99. This isn't bad because it can shield shave, do decent damage on break, and you can use this as a burst heal. So, like, it's not a bad thing to throw out, like, in a fight to shave shields and heal your allies if it goes after an enemy after they whack, if it goes in between enemy turns. Then his other 5-star skill is that all allies heal 10% of their max HP, and revive all dead allies with 10% of their max HP. You can only use this 3 times per battle. It's really expensive in SP. It only heals 10% HP, so if you don't use this last or after all the enemies, they might just die again immediately. And in general, just having skills to revive is generally not the best idea. In COTC, it's usually better to try to plan comps to hopefully not die. And then his TP skill was actually pretty good, which is why it sucks that he didn't get it. Is that it's a 3-hit random target dark that explodes fire weakness. It has a small chance to inflict blindness for 2 turns per hit. The blindness isn't why it's good. It's that when you max boost this skill, it becomes 5 hits. That's why it's pretty decent, because at least 5 hits is a somewhat decent multi-hit, so he can do some good damage. So moving on to his EX skill and his ultimate technique. His EX skill has 1 total use, and it's unlocked from turn 6 and onwards. And it's just a 1-hit single target dark that exploits fire weakness, except that if he has at least 270 SP, or at least any SP over 30, he will expend 30 SP from his available pool up to 270 to do up to 9 additional hits. So if he does have at least 270 SP, this will become a 10-hit single target dark. So even though you can only use this once per battle, it is a 10-hit that is very good. It's just unfortunate that he does not have a 6-star to have it now. His ultimate technique is a damage cost ultimate. Takes 4 BP to fully charge from level 8. It's called Saint Alethea. It's a 1-hit single target dork that exploits fire weakness and also inflicts 5% physical attack, physical defense, magic defense, critical, and speed down for 2 turns with 1 times 440 power, so it's a really strong hit. Probably damage cap without too much effort. It also has a medium chance to inflict poison, bleeding, paralysis, and blindness. That's pointless, as debuffs are not really good. It scales to 10% debuff strength and 1 times 525 power at level 10. So it does become kind of useful because, like, ultimate debuff down is definitely a good thing. Like, if you're running this with Signa, that would cap with her debuff down to 30% effectiveness, which is good, and, until she gets the 200% ultimate thing far in the future. That is good. This is probably one of the best ultimate animations in the game, not gonna lie. It is really cool. So even if you don't get this unit, just, look up the character trailer on YouTube and see what it is, because it's pretty fun. I would say that in terms of priority, even though L10ing this does double its effectiveness for debuff, I'd still A1 him first. But then if you get an extra stone, I would A1, then ult 10 before continuing onwards if you do pull. So for his Awakenings and A4 accessory, A1 is good. S Odio functions best as a DPS, so A1 just means more damage from 50 more base magic attack. A2, he doesn't need more than 3 skills, just a luxury. Doesn't need it. A3, clerics are squishy, so more HP is always a good thing. And then his A4 accessory is called the Core of Despair. It gives 70 magic attack, 70 SP, and its only ability is that you gain a 40 SP regen. For a collab A4, this is just bad. This is just laughably bad. It has actually very low stats that are only slightly better than other SP regen A4s out there that are from Gen Pool units. Except that this is collab limited, so you can't even exchange for it. And, like, yeah, it's a bad accessory. This is like a D tier A4. SP is rarely an issue if you properly plan your fights and set up teams. Shan also comes out later for SP tank, so like SP just does not matter. the stats are equivalent to like general pool A4s in some cases. Like there are general pool A4s that have better stats than this. And this is just, so it's just laughable that this is a collab limited A4. So like I don't chase this ever, unless you're like an A4 collector. Like even as a whale, I wouldn't bother chasing this. Optimal skill layout. Skill 1. Yes, I know I'm recommending a skill that he doesn't have yet, but it should be his TP skill for his 5 hits at max boosted when he gets TP. Skill 2 would be the 3-hit random target dark/fire exploit that lowers dark resistance by 2 turns per hit, because lowering dark resistance just means more damage. It's good. Skill 3, I would recommend his self 30% magic attack / dark damage up. And then skill 4, which you could slot into skill 1 since he doesn't have his TP for now, would be either his Giga Nuke if he's sub DPSing, so he can just hit damage cap without needing buffs on himself. Or also, depending on the fight, the 3-hit single target that heals all allies as a burst heal can also be great. It just depends on the fight. So for unit synergy, S Odio can be a powerhouse dark fire exploding cleric, but he lacks init damage up, so any units that can assist with that, like Frederica, for example, are great for passive elemental damage up. I know that's not a very common thing to be able to give elemental damage up to other allies, but it's something, otherwise you'll need to use accessories to get that damage up instead. If intending to main DPS him, row partnering with Mabel works great for pet stacking and her passive magic attack up for her row partner. As he can also cover active magic attack damage up on himself, he actually doesn't need other buffers if he's solo DPSing, but Isla can still be helpful for some damage cap, as well as raising the passive magic attack to 50%, and Isla's ultimate buff that does all damage up as well, all elemental damage up as well. Nefty and Neha can both grant him the ability to critical with magic attacks, so that increases his damage output even further. And then Signa is, as you know, a universally good unit. Her countdown resistance down can cap his dark resistance down skill to 30%, or any other dark damage dealer like Primrose or Nina Lana could also cap dark resistance down with their skills. Alright, so whether you should pull or not to pull, S Odio shines as a heavy damage dealing cleric, and is just great for the cleric tower with his attack that can burst heal and do solid damage, as well as just Giga Nuking and forgetting about needing proper setup. That being said, especially that with him lacking his TP and 6-star and release, which has some of his best skills, he struggles heavily with damage cap problems, and is also he's a magic unit, so that's just massively inferior to physical teams. Like, O Odio has a 9-hit attack that hits dark, so like, you don't really need a magic one to hit dark if you're going to get O Odio. As always, like if you love Live or this unit, you should pull regardless of anybody's advice and just have fun your way. But in my opinion, whether you should pull tier 4 play, skip. There are better options to come. He's cool, but his cool is not worth 6k rubies. Tier 3 low spending and passes, definitely also skip. Tier 2 Dolphin, also skip unless you're unit collecting. Outside Cleric Tower, there's just no real use for him. And then for Whales, Tier 1, A1 ult 10 is enough for his damage dealing and maximizing his use with his ultimate. His A4 is just terrible, so only go for that if you're an A4 collector. Overall, for rating him as a DPS, I'd rate him as an A tier DPS, a D tier support because it's not that he doesn't have that many good support options and they're very like restrictive on how he can use them. B tier for healing because it's actually not bad, because he can heal and revive, but mainly heal as a burst heal while attacking, so that does have some use. No tanking ability, so overall I'd put him as like a mid to lower B tier unit. Like, he's not bad, he's just not very good, so there's just almost always better options, but like he can be fun to use. But anyway, that's my overview for S Odio. Please let me know if you decided to go for him below, and I wish you luck if you do. Please like, follow, and subscribe for more COTC content, unit overviews, guides, and more. Let me know if there's anything else you wish to see, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening, day, or whenever you're watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.